Welcome to Molly Mish. We're an American family of 5 traveling around the world since 2008. After more than 6 weeks exploring Ireland, we ferried across from Belfast to Great Britain. With autumn fast approaching, we're starting to feel the squeeze of the weather. Join us as we make our way around the Scottish Highlands across the famous North Coast 500. After a short visit to Glasgow, actually it was really just a layover. We did some grocery shopping and picked up a package in an Amazon locker before continuing our way north. We saw on Instagram that our friends from Dometic were nearby exploring the Isle of Mull. Seeing that it wasn't too far away, we messaged them to see if we might cross paths for a cup of coffee. They had been spending the past few days exploring the Scottish Highlands, and we were hoping to get some advice of places they liked. It turns out they were hosting a press event at a hotel nearby in the quaint little town of Crieff. And they graciously invited us to crash their party, and we were never happier to oblige. They had been on a video shoot for Dometic with some of their UK-based brand ambassadors. The video they made there was just recently released on their channel. If you are interested, I will leave a link in the description. We were happy to see a few familiar faces and getting to meet some new ones. Charlie and Dale of Climbing Van, who live in a yellow Sprinter. Lisa and Jason of 4-Wheel Nomads, exploring the world in a Toyota Hilux. And even a fellow American, Mary Hannah, with her English partner Andrew in their Land Rover Defender. Jason and Lisa from 4-Wheel Nomads were especially helpful in dispensing tons of local knowledge of Scotland. We won't get to them all this time around, but we'll keep them in our back pocket for future visits. With permission, we spent the night in the van on the grounds of the hotel and continue making our way towards the start of the North Coast 500 at Inverness. But not too fast. First, we had to make a roadside stop next to Loch Ness. This place is high up on Luca's wish list of must-sees in Scotland. We just left this morning, so now we're making our way sort of northwest towards the series of lakes that eventually lead up to the town of Inverness, which is one of the starting points of the North Coast 500 route. So we're probably going to be spending a night somewhere between here and Inverness before we officially start the NC 500. We got about an hour and a half of driving before we get to this next town, where we're going to stock up on some food, some supplies, before we get up to Inverness. So yeah, from now on we're going to be showing you guys some of the more scenic parts of Scotland. And what's cool about meeting Jason and Lisa is that they're from the UK and they've traveled all through Scotland many times for decades. So they had a lot of good pointers and places for us to go to. He gave me a bunch of markers on my Google Maps, which is going to come in really handy once we get up there, because we don't have as much time as we would like to be up here, so we're trying to make the best of it. And he gave us some really good highlights that we're looking forward to seeing. So we're going to take you guys along.
If I do see it, is it a good time to scream like when I saw that squash in the funnel?
find Nessie today?
No.
Why?
Look. It's just a bunch of nothingness.
Not this time, Nessie, but we will be back. We're at this place called Dave's Rest, which is a really cool little spot just outside of this little town by Loch Ness, where the Loch Ness Monster lives, of course. Dave's Rest is a little campground, I guess. Yeah, you can probably fit, I don't know, 20 campers in here if you want. I mean, for me, it's a reasonably sized campground. There's a couple of big retired tour buses here. One there that probably somebody uses. There's a living space. One over there, there used to be a mobile pub for tours around here, I guess. Retired, and now it's a mobile bus, or more of a stationary bus or stationary pub here. But of course, because of the pandemic, there's no pub action. And lots of different things probably also are different because of the pandemic. The reception area used to be over there. There used to be somebody on site, I guess. And now the reception area is in the red bus, which is a honor system. It's £10 for the use of all the facilities, excluding electric hookups. An extra £3 if you want electric hookups. Not all the sites have the ability to reach the hookups. Well, depending on how long of an extension cord you have, of course. Like there's one over there. There's a plug over there. And then there's a plug over there by the water spigot. So 3 different places for plug in. We're over there in the corner. We came here because all the other places were sort of crowded near the road. This is at the end of a cul-de-sac in this neighborhood. You drive past this little park. You turn about a couple miles away from Loch Ness and off through this neighborhood, and you come up to a place like this. There's apparently more places like this popping up around here in the recent days, because the government of Scotland, at least the tourism board anyways, started promoting this North Coast 500 route, which starts in Inverness, which is only just a few miles north of where we are now, on the north end of Loch Ness. And from there you do a loop, 500-mile loop around the Northern Highlands of Scotland. This place was cool for us because when we came here, it was pretty much like this. There was one other guy here who just left. Now it looks like there's nobody here. There's one camper here. Nobody was there last night. So presumably this guy just is just parking here and went off to do something else, hiking or camping or something. His van was here last night. But other than that, nobody else is here. So great place for the cats. There's a little river, a little creek that runs down, drains into Loch Ness. Loch Ness is part of a series of lochs that are part of the Caledonian Canal. Instead of having to sail all the way around, there's a bunch of islands out there. There's a lot of like glacial little peninsulas. All of that can be a little difficult to sail around, and obviously much longer. So instead of going all the way around the Caledonian Canal, just cuts right through Scotland, sort of separating the eastern side against the western side of the Scottish Highlands. For the most part, the Caledonian Canal is natural. I think there's a few places where they probably had to connect it or maybe dredge it out to make it bigger. But for the most part, it's natural. All these natural lochs that are connected, Loch Ness being the one that's furthest north. And then just north of Loch Ness, you have the, I believe it's the North Sea. But that's obviously saltwater, whereas Loch Ness is freshwater. Lochs can be saltwater or freshwater. You sort of associate it mostly as freshwater because, you know, it's like lochs are essentially the Scottish name for lakes, but they're saltwater lochs. So today marks the official start of our North Coast 500 drive. We're going to get into Inverness, which is the sort of the unofficial starting point. And from there, our plan is to do a counterclockwise loop, driving up the John O'Groats on the upper right-hand corner of the Northern Highlands, and then make our way to the west and then down the west coast. The west coast is probably going to be the most beautiful parts, which is what a lot of people have been telling me, which makes sense. You know, the west coast is where the landmass kind of faces the open ocean, so there's a lot more storms that come through over the decades and centuries and millenniums and the millions of years, really, how it's kind of carved out these rugged coastlines, and also glacial forces that have carved out these little arms that stick out into the ocean. And there's islands out there too. We're not sure if we're going to get to see any islands. We're going to try, time permitting, obviously. Just like we were in Ireland, you know, we're probably not going to spend more than 2 nights. In this case, we're even tighter timeline wise. It's already almost the middle of September. Today's the 11th. So we only have about 3 weeks in Great Britain before we go. Oh, you found blackberries.
Yeah.
Wow, did you try some?
Toby tried some.
Are you gonna try one?
Do you want one?
No, I want to see you try one.
Okay.
Tell me how it is.
I think mine was white.
Is it a little sour?
Just a little.
Is it soft or firm?
Soft.
Oh, but it's still sour. No. I brushed my teeth and that's gonna have a weird taste. There are a lot of blackberry bushes everywhere here. Starting today, hopefully we'll get to see some pretty epic stuff. What all of northern Scotland has to offer in the Highlands. Hope you guys are ready.